This is probably the first time ever I've decided to start like right on time. Like as soon as Restream's like, let's go live, I'm clicking it like, okay, let's do this thing. So yeah, um, it's Sunday. We had our time change last night. For those of you who don't know, here in America, we have this absolutely dog shit system of daylight savings time that encompasses most of the year, where clocks are an hour ahead in most parts of the United States. Meaning that, yeah, for most of the year, we're not even on our proper time zones. Now, I could go on a whole tirade about how stupid it is and how much of a leftover from the dumb ages of the country it is, but this isn't the time or place for that. Let's just say it may be 12:41 right now, but it feels like 11:41 because that's what time it actually is. Um, but right, it's Sunday morning. We're here to whack a Hovind because that's what we do. Um, I thought I'd have more energy for this, but it was a long night last night. I didn't get to sleep. Y'all kept me up all night with that stream. It was fun. But yeah, we're going to crack into good old 0645 2017 here. And part B of Psalm 78, One More Night with the Frogs. Yeah. I'm sure this makes sense from a biblical context, but it's just freaking weird to me, especially given the allegations of Kent's search history. And I'm just gonna say the line because we're all thinking it. I don't want them putting chemicals in the water that turn the frogs Christian, right? I don't have the energy to get angry and act like Alex Jones with it. And yes, this man is wearing a SpongeBob jacket. 72-year-old pastor wearing a SpongeBob jacket. And he calls us immature. We're chasing Zelda. Anyway, this is about 30 minutes. Let's see if we can power through this.
Good morning, folks. Ken Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventure Land in Lenox, Alabama, in Genesis Baptist Church. It is March the 9th, 2025. I found in my closet, somebody gave me a SpongeBob SquarePants jacket. So just for you evolutionists who can imagine you're related to a strawberry, this is for you. But it's too hot. I'm not going to wear it all day in here, so let me get rid of this. I wear bright Hawaii.
Just popping up with, as of March 2023, the following states and territories did not observe DST: Arizona, Hawaii, American Samoa, Guam, the North Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, and Virgin Islands. Yeah, so Arizona and Hawaii really being the only parts of America that anybody knows anything about that are anything. Everything else is functionally irrelevant to 99% of people. Yeah, Arizona's kind of cool for not fucking with it, and Hawaii's smart. Don't quite know why Alaska would. Why they'd bother, but whatever. Yeah, DST is fucking stupid, and the fact that there's groups out there who think DST is the normal time and want permanent DST is absolutely insane. But we're not here to talk about daylight savings. We're here to whack Hovind. Stay focused.
Hawaiian shirts because, hey, that's mostly what I got in my closet. I got them for $0.25 a piece. Somebody did it for me. Secondly, it's a resurrection. Today's the day we celebrate the resurrection. Sunday. We should be excited. Okay, we're going to talk.
Pixar, it didn't happen. How's that for your resurrection? Oh, you're going to take the SpongeBob jacket off, so you just wore it just to show it off. God, Kent.
Today about Psalm chapter 78, part B. We're going to try to finish the chapter. Don't know if we can make it or not. One more night with the frogs.
I don't know if we can make it or not. I'm getting tired of doing this stuff, but it's a duty I've taken upon myself. I said duty.
The psalmist is singing a song to the people to remind them of all the great things God did.
Yeah, like kill everybody and eternally punish everyone and let them be slaves. And not do crap until somebody got really uppity about them being slaves, and not to get telling them where the hell to go. Yep, real good God you got there.
On a bunch of channels, we're on Facebook if you want to follow that, or Rumble, or Twitter, or X, or our app. Bunch of shows up on there. We're going to eventually get them all up there. If you have any of our old shows that you recorded, contact Joseph to make sure if we don't have it, we'll put it up. Tech support at drdino.com. Maybe you recorded some because we lost a lot when YouTube took us down. We're done with YouTube. Okay, they can keep their channel.
Yeah, recorded some. Yep. I hooked my VCR up to my computer and taped them for you, Kent. Oh, and glorious, you know. Fuck, man. That's how you can tell I'm getting old. I forgot the scan line density of VHS. Because it's less than standard NTSC. That's why VHS was always fuzzy. Not that great a format. Laserdisc. There's your analog. Standard def format. Maximum quality. But yeah, it's if you recorded them, it's like saved them, copied them. Just think about it, Kent. Pick your words carefully. I would expect such a great orator to be able to do that.
So you can go to any one of these buttons and it'll take you to our app. Go on our channel, drdino.com, and help us like it, share it, comment, do all that kind of stuff.
All right, you know, we got our happy fun subscribe button. Honestly, I'm tired of even celebrating the subscribe button, and Dino Lamp is still dead, and here's the same fucking Al Gore joke. Get a fucking life, Kent. Good lord.
Because it helps Al Gore's rhythm or something. I'm not sure how that works. Okay, so here we are with 777 Club, if you want to help us to open for free. Wasn't that a blast yesterday with all those kids here? They had 3 Jeeps crammed with kids taking the tour, running around there. They had such...
Yep, not touching any of that.
Well, I'll show you the pictures in a minute. Okay.
Not touching that one either. Not going there, Kent. Not with the kind of company you keep.
Anyway, call Bobby, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 1, if you have any questions about making a donation or something, or Dr. Dino Secretary at gmail.com. There's our website, Dr. Dino. Almost 9 years now coming up. Let's see, get our seminar series, our Woe series, and here we are, March the 9th, Sunday morning. If you love the Lord and love soul winning and love our ministry, we need a chef. We also need people to post our videos on other channels. Please do. We want to get the gospel out. We're trying to win a war, not build a castle.
Oh, don't worry, Kent. As I always tell you, I'm definitely resharing your videos. Just probably not in a way you want.
So help us out with that if you can. A lot of people post our stuff on their channel.
I mean, honestly, if I really wanted to play their game, I would just re-upload everything of Kent's straight up, all on a channel, spam it on every other remotely Christian channel I can, hit the subscriber count, reach the view counts, monetize the hell out of that, and wait for him to try to complain. But I choose the moral high ground and decide to put in my own work, do my own thing. But, yeah, just thinking out loud here. It'd be a way to do things.
Something on that one. We give tours in the Jeeps. We had a new lamb born a couple days ago. Let's see. Even though the sheep are mixed with our cows, our zebus, our donkeys.
Here he goes. Instead of just getting to his damn sermon, I got to ramble on about evolution because I'm Ken Hovind and that's all I fucking think about. I get a boner every time someone brings up evolution. I got to run my script, Hovind.
Our squirrels, armadillos. The baby was 100% sheep. Maybe the sheep know they only mate with other sheep. Maybe they're smarter than the evolutionists who think everything's related to a common ancestor. There it is. Same day it was born.
That poor sheep is so fucking cute, and you've got that monster up above it. Kent, if your God wanted you to, you would slaughter that sheep and leave it out to rot immediately. Like, think about it. What did they do with the stuff that was sacrificed? I want to think for the most part, stuff was just kind of left to rot. Otherwise, you're not really sacrificing it to the God. If you're taking advantage of it, you're using it your own self, in which case it's not really a sacrifice. So it's either things are wasted for a deity, or, whatever concept you want to roll with on that historically, or it's not really sacrificed. Can't be both. Pick one or the other.
Got to know Daddy up here. Okay. Wild idea number 37,829.
God, I'm just firing on like 1.5 cylinders here today. 300-foot zip line all the way to Noah's Ark is under construction. I wouldn't trust that zip line to carry a flea.
Our new 300-foot zip line all the way to Noah's Ark is well under construction. There's my picture I took from the top of the man lift. There's the cable laying on the ground going out to Noah's Ark, 300 feet away. There's the poles going up. That was a pain, wasn't it? Hank putting those poles up. Thank you guys for helping me with that. That's me, 72 years old, 48 feet up in the air, leveling the post, looking down. You see that picture somebody sending around about a T-Rex taking his own selfie? His arms are too short, so it only gives half of his body. I was a little nervous up there. There's our great view of our world-famous Dinosaur Adventure Land airport. You've got to come see our weather rock. We have a rock that can tell the weather.
Oh, man. He's bringing out this ancient-ass joke. Kent, that joke is older than dirt. I know where you're going with this. We all know the weather rock. We've all seen the picture. We've all seen the news clippings from 2 centuries ago of people making the same joke. Maybe not that far back, but still.
Come see it, Dinosaur Adventure Land. We make paper airplanes go 400 feet.
Oh, wow, he didn't even bother with the joke. I got all excited over nothing. Story of my life, right?
The record's 420 feet with a paper airplane. Great lesson there. Those kids had a blast with all that. There we are, me taking a picture straight down to, is that Neil down there on the ground? Probably, yeah, Neil, okay. There we go, way up there. And so we have, let's see.
Yeah, all seriousness, there's going to be a disaster with that zip line. I guarantee it. So we're just going to wait.
I had a bird's eye view of the batting cage where kids try to sling golf balls with a sling, to hit Goliath out there. He's 10 feet tall. For those who've been to DAL, the new zip line is right next to the Leap of Faith Tower, and it's going to be supported by the same thing. There it is, the zip line.
Super chat from Laura for $4.99, just popping in for a second. Hey there. Gonna sit down with my dad and talk him out of being a Trump supporter. Good luck. Hate to say you're gonna need it.
And going up, going to be cool. Thank you for all. Bob Holmes, a one-man volleyball team, longtime friend of mine, gets into public schools a lot, and he needs just support, monthly support, so he can keep going with his ministry.
No, Skeletor needs to just disappear. He's just as sick and twisted as you.
Beatbob.com. Let's see. This guy says, I was famous. I had the most expensive house and cars. I was a millionaire. I knew Jesus. Isn't that cool?
You're still gonna be, even if your fairy tale's true, you're still gonna be rotting in the ground for a long time there, buddy. But then your magic ghost self goes somewhere happy and fun. Woohoo! The magic ghost self that is demonstrated to not exist at all.
Where are you going to be in 100 years? Pile of bones? Yeah. Springtime.
Where are you gonna be? Pile of bones. I ain't never seen no ghost people. Trust me, I looked. I ain't seen no ghosts.
We took the doors off. I need some kind of mechanic to come down here. We need a full-time mechanic if you want to join our family. That old Jeep the neighbor sold me real cheap is a 47 Willys. It needs gas tank, clutch, and floorboards are rotted out. So help us out if you want to come down here. A pastor from Georgia brought 30 of his kids and teens Friday night and Saturday, and they had a blast. I took them out on the real tour. I said, kids, you want the real tour? Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying I'd obstruct federal affairs, but if ICE agents come around asking questions, I don't know nothing. Because I don't pay attention to anything that goes on. So you ask me about the people 2 doors down, I don't know nothing. People downstairs and over to the other side, I don't know. I don't pay attention to people. I'm not lying because I genuinely don't. And anything I do know or did see, I done forgot it. I got a bad short-term memory. I tend not to remember things. I'm sorry.
I mean, are you really, really sure you want the real tour? Oh, yeah. I gave it to him.
All right, yeah. Otaku's right. I did slander Skeletor by comparing him to anyone Kent would respect. It's just the dude seriously looks like a botched Skeletor clone. That's not knocking Skeletor. It's just that's what he looks like, and it's just what it is. Kent shouldn't care if a guy can beat a whole basketball team, should he?
How many know where the big puddle is that Will made on the tour out there? He said, you ought to.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when someone's using sports for Jesus, but whenever they're just an athletic, when they're a performer, just just doing what they do, it's all of a sudden stupid. It's the double standards are hilarious.
Real tour? Oh, yeah, we want the real tour. Okay. They're probably still talking about it, okay? Bobby gives the tour.
Yeah, they're lucky they didn't die.
Of our science center, the Taurus cannon, the Bernoulli blower, the Venturi vacuum, all kinds of cool stuff to teach about creation. Come join us at Genesis Baptist Church. Come see the progress on Noah's Ark. We got lots going on there. The drogue stones and Neil, you don't have all the drywall up yet. Almost. Yeah, right. Okay.
Oh yeah, that sounds like Neil's going to be taken to the basement, and he's not going to have a very fun night. He's not getting to spend the night with the frogs. Nope, Neil's going to get punished. Also, all these random scientific things, and he's like teaching about creation. It's like, Kent, if you were trying to teach about creation, you would have something magically created. But you can't seem to do that, and your God's too damn lazy to just magically poof something into existence just to prove his point every now and then. It's like it's only slightly related, but it's like Matt Dillahunty says, why is the Damascus Road experience good enough for Saul, but it's not good enough for me? It's a valid question.
It's going to be endless, isn't it? Good at painting and stuff like that. Okay, slide number 318, enter. Psalm chapter 78. We left off last time.
Slide number 8675309. Hey, could you get Jenny off here? I don't like her anymore. Hovind.
It says they remembered that God was their rock. It's good to just sit and remember sometimes. My mom kept a baby book on all of us kids growing up. We'd go back and sit down and look at the pictures,
Wow. Riveting life there, Kent.
In the past. It's good to remember where God brought you through. He wanted to remind the people, the psalmist did, look, God got you out of Egypt. He worked miracles. You crossed over the Red Sea.
But he made sure that you didn't wind up in Egypt. You know? And get you out of there, but won't do anything to stop you from going to begin with.
Time to remember. Nevertheless, they did flatter him with the mouth, and they lied unto him with their tongues. Oh, yeah, God, we love you, we love you. They're lying, okay? They don't love him. Talking about the high God. Mention it.
Yeah, just like you, Kent. The only thing you love is yourself. And money.
In the Bible quite a few times. The Most High God. The first time it's mentioned is Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought bread. He was the priest of the Most High God. There's a principle in Bible study called the principle of the first mention. The first time a word is mentioned, it's good to really study that one. The first time a phrase is mentioned usually means something special. Jesus Christ.
And now we see some of what stems from Kent's obsession with how many times a word is mentioned. Definitely correlated to that same principle of, oh, when's the first time it's mentioned? That's really important. Okay, mentioned in what language? Because I'm sure some ideas were translated differently. Because I know they were. Can't remember, offhand which particular ones, but language is funny like that. So what may be a new word in a later translation might have been the same word, same usage in a previous one. Just saying. Can't really place that much value on that.
Christ, I think, was Melchizedek. Come down. We talked about that the other day. Some people disagreed with me. Okay.
Yeah, under a lot of interpretations, that's outright blasphemy, heresy, and probably all kinds of other E's. I mean, I think it's stupidity, but, that's just me. Hovind, great joke. Huh?
You're wrong. I'm right. Okay. The Most High God, mentioned in the Bible a whole bunch of times. Let's see, actually 16 times. It says their heart was not right with him. I want to talk to you about this morning. Is your heart right? You say, what do you mean? Am I having a heart attack? No, not your physical heart. The spiritual, your relationship with God. Is your heart right? Their heart was not right. Neither were they steadfast in his covenant. In the book of...
Yep. When God actually needs to do something, it seems pretty useless. But, appearing on toast is fine. That's important.
1 Kings, go tell Jeroboam, thus saith the Lord, I exalted thee from among the people and made thee prince over my people Israel. and rent the kingdom away from the house of David, and gave it to thee. And yet thou hast not been as my servant David, who kept my commandments and who followed me with all his heart. He said, Jeroboam, look, you didn't do like David did. David really loved the Lord. Now, David made some bad mistakes, okay, like really bad. Okay, committed adultery with his neighbor's wife and murdered her husband. I mean, that's pretty bad. But he had,
Yeah, that's pretty bad. At least we know where Kent stands on the on ethics.
his heart was right. He knew how to repent and say, I'm sorry. Some of you don't know how to do that, do you?
Yes, because under Christianity you can get away with anything, and just accepting Magic Sky Daddy makes it all good. And Magic Sky Daddy 2, Electric Boogaloo, i.e. the Jeebus saga. You know, you accept those ideas, you're good to go. Such a lovely concept. By lovely, I mean sickening.
Yeah, okay. In 2 Kings, when he departed, he lighted upon Jeroboam and saluted him and said, Is thy heart right? As my heart is right? He said, Yep, okay, come on, join me in the chariot. Now, when I took driver's ed at East Peoria High School, I think my driver's ed teacher's name must have been Jehu.
You know, Kent, one of the things about being a good orator is knowing what information is superfluous and what information is worth bringing up. No one gives a flying fuck where you took driver's ed. Little shit like that can be cut and the story flows smoother. And I know with me rambling off the cuff as I do, and me just being the person I am, I ramble about all kinds of shit, throw in all kinds of random information. But this is all off the cuff. This isn't a prepared presentation. You'd think he'd have the skill and have the instinct, if he's done all the stuff he does, to refine this a bit. And I'm going to keep pointing that shit out because it becomes more and more obvious every video we watch how completely unskilled this man is at actually doing anything indicative of having a history or having experience in the fields he claims to have had.
He must have been a former Formula One race car driver because he taught me how to drive. If you read the book of Jehu, and book of 2 Kings talks about Jehu, it says his driving is the driving of Jehu. He driveth furiously. My hero. Okay. The Lord said to Jehu, because thou hast done well.
I thought your daddy was your hero. You know, World War II Marine, only survivor of his platoon. Hovind. Had a son who was a complete piece of shit. Hovind.
Well, in executing that which is right in mine eyes, you've done unto the house of Ahab what I told you to do. But Jehu took no heed to walk in the law of the Lord with all his heart. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam. He did some things right, but then his heart wasn't right. I want you to stop and examine your heart today. It's time for a heart checkup. I don't mean how's your...
No, I don't feel like cracking my rib cage open. I tried that once. Didn't like it. No, I didn't. It is a terrifying thought, though. I'm not saying I've had a nightmare like Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street-esque kind of crap, but I may have had a nightmare involving such a concept. It was not fun.
Your pulse rate and, what your heart blood pressure. Is your heart right with God? Amaziah was 25 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 29 years. He did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, but not with a perfect heart. Some of you are doing what's right. You're coming to church, you're reading your Bible, you go through the motions, but you know full well your heart isn't right with God.
In all seriousness, we really should do a FOIA request on Kent's father's military records, just to gather details. For one, was he actually 6'2"? Because being that tall and being part of the silent generation, the people who grew up during the fucking Depression, you either came from some pretty well-off people, which seems like it could be the case, or someone's lying.
Take time to stop and think about that. Psalm 51, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. This is after King David committed adultery with the neighbor's wife and murdered her husband to cover it up because she got pregnant. He wrote Psalm 50.
Well, why didn't they just take her to the temple and perform that abortion ritual that is so clearly defined inside of the Bible? Aron-Ra's explained it numerous times. I forget the exact passage, but it's in there. I think there's more than one, but I know there's one definitely. That seems like it would have been a solution. Maybe that came after the fact. I don't know. I don't know the order of the story because it's all dumb, so I just don't care. So it could have been, after the fact.
51. Look, you got some bad sin in your life. Maybe you ought to read Psalm 51 and repeat it for yourself. Lord, would you give me a clean heart?
Yeah, quantify sin, then we'll talk. Show me a sin. Show me a volume, a unit of measurement for sin. Isolate it, extract it, contain it. Then we'll talk. Otherwise, you're just saying nothing but bullshit.
He said, I want you to purge me with hyssop. I've heard that hyssop is a little weed they use to pick it out of the ground and use it as a scrub brush. I want you to scrub me clean. It might take a while to scrub some of the sin out of your life. Create in me a clean heart. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation. Look, you can't lose your salvation, but you can lose your joy. You can lose your rewards. You could lose your life. If you sin enough, God will say, that's it. Come on home to heaven. 1 Corinthians 5 and 1 John 5, we see that happening. In Acts chapter 8, give us this power. Give me also this power that I can lay hands on people and receive the Holy Ghost. This guy was a narcissist of one. He wanted.
And Space Ghost. Rest in peace, George Lowe. I am super bummed that he died. We should watch Space Ghost instead. That would be cool, but I don't have the rights to rebroadcast Space Ghost. So instead, I'll rebroadcast Ken Hovind's dumbass, and we'll laugh at that derisively. Back on course, everyone.
Wanted to have everybody look at him. Look, I healed people. He wanted to be the important one in the group. Peter said, thy money perish with thee. Thou hast thought the gift of God may be purchased with money. Thou hast neither part nor lot in this matter. Thy heart is not right in the sight of God. Look, all I can see is the outside. I've prayed 1,000 times. You guys have heard me do it in staff meetings. Lord, bring in the people you want here and take out.
My dad was a Marine as well. He's also a complete piece of shit.
The ones you don't want. I can't see the heart. You can. People can fool me. How many have ever been fooled before? Ever been fooled? Yeah, okay. Can't fool God. Just take out the one.
The answer to this question, Otaku, of why do Space Ghost actors keep dying is the inevitable, sick, twisted march of time and our impending doom. We're stuck on this mortal coil for only so much time. So we better make the most of it.
Ones that don't have a right heart. Okay. In verse 38, but he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. And many a time, that's a weird expression. You hear that? That expression came from the Bible. Many a time, he turned his anger.
Kent, it was probably already an idiom in the King James era that was, of course, put in where it felt apt in the translated understandings of the texts used as the source for the King James Version of the Bible. It's generally how these things work when people translate stuff. No one would have just come up with that on the fly. They would have put in phrasings of how they spoke at the time. That's why it's in the dialect it is, because that's how language translation works. Does this count as Kent stroking his ego? Because I feel like it does, because he thinks he's a god. He worships the Bible, the concepts within. He thinks he's second to the deity. And so it would just only make sense for him to just be like, oh, that phrase was made by the Bible. It's like, what? No. Oh, no.
Away, and did not store up all his wrath. He remembered that they were but flesh, a wind that passeth away and cometh not again. How oft did they provoke him in the wilderness? While they're wandering around for 40 years, here's God providing water, providing food, providing direction, giving them his laws, and they still provoked him. Some people, your mom or dad supply everything for you. They give you a bed to sleep on. They pay your electric bill. They pay your food bill, and you still don't get it.
Oh, can't be spiteful about those people who took advantage of him. Some might call those people heroes. Why is Kent still here? Because evil never dies. Which is why I plan to be immortal. I kid. I'm too nice to be evil.
We have some people come here and will live in our cabins. Oh, this is great. I'm going to lay around all day and do nothing. No. Go somewhere else and do that, okay? We're here to work. We're here to get the job done. They did provoke him in the wilderness and grieve him in the desert. Yea, they turned back and tempted God and limited the Holy One of Israel. They remembered not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy. You know, I like to look at words in the Bible and look them up. You know that word limited? It's only used one time. They limited God. Many people are limiting God by not submitting to his authority. He would like
This entity hasn't been, determined to exist, hasn't been verified to exist, and then any authority they may or may not have is dubious at best. You know, it's funny that they taught that Christians love to speak of this free will concept, yet then simultaneously claim that their deity has authority. Thus, they have command, dominion over our will and the actions we take. And some are allowed and some are prohibited, thus negating the free will concept. But even more so, just because it's coming from the same authority that was supposed to have given us the free will, wasn't really free will to begin with. All I can think of is stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. I don't know why, just that, image is what comes to mind when I think about this paradox, I guess.
to bless you, but he can't because you don't obey his rules. You don't do what he says. You're going to remove his blessing by your disobedience. Don't blame God. You did it. Pharaoh was told precisely what to do, and he refused.
His ego, along with the id and the superego, one of the constituent parts of the psyche.
Moses came, said, Pharaoh, God told me to tell you to let my people go. Pharaoh said, yeah, right, forget it. God said,
let my people go right to Walmart for hot bargains and low prices. Oh, wait, we burned it down. Oops. That's what happens when you get oil lamps. We burned down Walmart. Time to go to Target. Oh, we burned that down too. We're just gonna stay over here.
Moses, go tell him again. He went and told him a bunch of times. He said, this time, we're going to bring a plague on Pharaoh. After 10 plagues, Pharaoh, like all narcissists, still thought he was in control. God's not telling me what to do. That was his attitude. 10 plagues later, after losing his wealth, destroying his kingdom, and losing his own son, he still hardened his heart. And
yeah, what sense does that make? Okay, you get this guy who wants his people to go, and the guy in charge of things is like, nuh-uh. And so we're going to send all these plagues and punishments and this horrific death and stuff. And then the deity is going to be like, I'm gonna up the difficulty on this, so the Pharaoh's got to have even more bullshit to deal with. It's like, what the fuck, man? Why would you do that? What's the point? God's a dick.
And refused to submit. Yea, they turned back and tempted God and limited the Holy One of Israel. They remembered not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy. King David is writing this psalm, probably, or whoever wrote the psalm, to teach the people through all these psalms to remember how God saved them. Even after losing his oldest son, he did.
Everyone stay hi to Stacy. Say hi to Stacy. She has joined the chat.
Didn't get his attention. He still, after Moses left, chased after him again. What's it going to take to get your attention? I think the moment when toxic narcissist Pharaoh finally got...
Maybe if God had popped down in the visage of one of the Egyptian gods, especially the one that the Pharaoh preferred in the pantheon, and was like, hey, just let him go. It'll be all right. That would have been enough. Nothing else would have needed to have happened. So, obviously, I'm smarter than your god. Because I would not have come up with the convoluted bullshit that your deity did. Unless your deity is just a sick son of a bitch and loves to torture people. Which I think is the case. Based on everything in that book that I'm aware of.
Got the message, maybe.
Also, I didn't miss him calling the Pharaoh a narcissist because, of course, he would, because everything's projection with Kent. It's like a fucking IMAX stadium over here, except it's playing the shittiest movie ever, and most of the projector doesn't work right.
Was when the water came crashing in. And he realized, I can't swim with all this armor on. I'm in trouble. Millions of young Germans were indoctrinated into believing evolution, or Nazism.
Oh god, here we go. I did not see. I didn't intend that joke for one, but I most certainly did not see this coming. God damn it, Kent. You mentioned Nazis more than the History Channel. Good lord, I've never met anyone more obsessed with the Nazis than you. And I consider myself an amateur World War II historian. Not a very good one. But damn.
They thought they were the superior race. Jews and blacks were inferior and should all be killed. That's what they were taught.
We're at 11 minutes. Let's say, 13 and a half. Let's say 13 and a half minutes is when he started this. Let's see how long it takes for him to get back on point.
Okay? You know what the Muslims are taught in their schools when they're little bitty? We really deserve that territory. We should kill all the Jews. They're taught that from the time before they can read. From the river to the sea. Of course, they're going to think and work and act that way. It's what they're taught. It goes back to what's in our education system. Get my books on how to help our school system. Are you being brainwashed by your science book? Help, I'm being.
Are you being brainwashed by the Hovind? If so, that's the least of his violations for you. It's pretty disturbing that the indoctrination and brainwashing that Kent Hovind tries to go for with kids is actually, sadly, one of the least dangerous things that he enables. Just saying a lot.
Being taught evolution in my earth science class. What can I do about it? How can I do about the evolution in our schools? What do we do about fixing the biology textbooks? We want to help around here, folks. We want to help. I hope Trump calls me and says, Kent Hovind, will you come meet with me? How do we fix the public schools? I think I got the solution, okay? Quit teaching them they're an animal. It's one thing. Yep, speed up evolution. That was the purpose of Nazism. Eliminate the inferiors. That's another. Wonder if they finally got the message before they were hung. I don't know. Some people never get the message. He said, if I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord.
Okay, so that was like a solid minute and a half of him doing his thing.
Will not hear me. But God hath heard my prayer. The haters of the Lord should have submitted themselves unto him. They should have. But their time should have endured forever. They should have. How many of you ever look back and say, I should have done that differently? You should have done. Okay, I should have. He should have fed them with the finest of the wheat, with the honey out of the rock. He should have satisfied them. But no, they hated the Lord instead. Okay. The angel of the Lord said to her, submit to thy mistress. First mention of the word submit is when Hagar, the Egyptian servant, was pregnant.
Oh, is that Hagar the Horrible? Anyone ever read that comic in this newspaper as a kid? I don't know. I actually didn't much like most of the Sunday comics. I did, but I didn't. And we also oftentimes didn't get the Sunday paper because everyone was cheap. Yeah, which is what it is. And yeah, he conflates all of the things together. Revolution, I mean Nazis. It's all the same to him. But he can't stay focused. I mean, I can't stay focused either, but that's because Ken Owens boring. It's you guys who make it fun, Harvard. Kent is a horror cow. Yeah, I think he has crossed over into that range of things.
Pregnant with the child by Abraham. She ran off from her because her.
I mean, look. I unpause, and that's what we got going on. It's like, okay.
Her boss, Abram's wife, Sarah, was being mean to her. So that's justification for leaving. So she left. Angel of the Lord said, no, I'm sorry, return and submit. Yeah, but she's mean to me. Return and submit. Strangers should submit themselves unto me. Wives, submit to your husbands. He's mean to me. Do what the Bible says. Obey them that have the rule over you. You got a boss, and he's the boss, and you're working for him. Do what he says. Okay? Submit. Submit. It's all through the Bible. 12 times. God said submit.
Yeah, we've, no pun intended, evolved past that concept. While at work, I obviously respect my leads, people above me. we still have mutual understanding that we're part of a team, and they're just directing efforts. They're also in the trenches with the rest of us. Which is pretty damned awesome that I have managers who actually hate sitting back in the office and doing the paperwork. They instead want to be out helping us. That's pretty fucking awesome. Way different when it was when I worked at Wally World, I'll tell you that much. But we see ourselves as a team, as partners in getting the tasks that need to be done. A much more civilized way of looking at things than this almost master and slave construct.
Admit, that's a hard thing to do. He wrought signs in Egypt and his wonders in the field of Zoan, and he turned their rivers into blood. After their floods, they could not drink. He sent divers sorts of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs, which destroyed them. How do frogs destroy you? Well, one of the Egyptian goddesses was a frog. They actually worshipped the frog.
Ooh, I wish Deviant was here, but it's too early for her, or ironically too late. What time is it over there? About 7 p.m.? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their schedule's like. Her and Soot got some weird schedules going on, which is fine. It just means she can't be here at the moment. But I'd love to see her tear down of the crap he's about to spew.
How stupid can you get? I think evolution is right up near that same level.
You worship a carpenter who got nailed to some wood. Pretty fucking ironic, if you ask me.
Of stupidity to think you're related to a strawberry and a banana and a frog. Okay, you have atheists. You believe you're related to a frog? Oh yeah, I can hear it now. Yeah, we got similar DNA. I've heard all the arguments.
Kent, all life is related. You're stupid ass. You believe you're related to this, you're related to that. It's just, it's your typical obnoxious crap. Everyone's tired of hearing it. Get new material, you dumb fuck.
It's dumb. You're not related to a frog. Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land. And the magicians did so. Let's see. Pharaoh called for Moses and said, "Entreat the Lord that he may take the frogs away from my people, and I will let them go, that they may do sacrifice." And Moses said to Pharaoh, "Glory over me. When shall I entreat for thee?" I love this passage.
It's gonna be Kekistan Adventure Land. Hovind, we love Trump. Come on down, right wing. Oh no, there's too many Pepes. Ah, they ate my crops. Hovind's gonna starve. Chinese buffet closed. Don't know what I'm gonna do. My 20-mile drive to Bruton every Sunday is now gonna be useless. Hovind.
Pharaoh finally calls Moses in. The frogs are everywhere, in the bed, in the ovens, everywhere, in the icebox if they had one back then. He said, "Okay, Moses, please tell God to get rid of the frogs."
You know, I question if Kent actually means a proper ice box, as in the turn of the 20th century methodology for keeping products cold, or if he's referring to a refrigerator. Because I know people who, due to it being what their parents called a refrigerator, still legitimately refer to a fridge as an ice box. Can't even tell. Also, this pause moment. I'm not saying Photoshop could do a lot with this, but what I am saying is hitting that screen cap button. Done.
Moses said, "Okay, when would you like me to do this, Pharaoh?" And Pharaoh said, "Tomorrow." How about like now? Oh, no, tomorrow. Somebody wrote a classic song, "One More Night with the Frogs." I'm going to...
No. God damn it, I thought we could go through this without hearing him sing. We already had to hear you talk about Nazis. For fuck's sake, can we go without hearing you sing? I should just mute it, but I want to keep this train wreck documented. Just as a reminder that this fucker can't sing. Alright, everyone. I guess lower the volume. I would say mute, but don't. You might miss something. Hovind's about to sing this crap.
Billy, do you want to come sing with me this morning? No, okay. I get lots of requests, but I sing anyway once in a while. Over in the books of Moses, the strangest things I found about this man named Pharaoh. He had plagues all over town, but he was very hard and he.
Damien, I'd go Scottish, possibly Welsh. That's the first stuff that comes to mind on my end, since I think it would flow most natural for anyone who's, like a native English speaker, since those accents are commonly associated with English speaking. You know what I mean? We think about them; they're more common to hear than an actual dialect, like someone with an accent spawned from Arabic or Korean or something. I can't word well this morning. This thumbnail is called "A Little More Than the Tip" by Kent Hovind. Thank you, Seth. That is Perfectamundo. Back when the ice was delivered. Yep. Go get lunch. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Disobeyed the things that God had said. So the Lord sent fleas, flies, and frogs and turned the water to a bloody red. He didn't get it. Moses said to Pharaoh, "Won't you let my people go?" Pharaoh said to Moses, "Now you know this can't be so. Won't you come back in the morning? I'll take a journey with you one and all. But tonight I just can't give 'em up. I want one more night with the frogs. One more night with them stinking frogs. One more night in sin. I had a terrible time with them last night, but I just got to do it again."
Ugh, this is so fucking terrible. The word cringe is overused today. However, I think this most certainly applies. Audience, let me know your opinion. Leave a 1 if this is cringe. Leave a 2 if this is super cringe. Or leave a 3 if you'd rather be playing Guild Wars like me.
Well, it'll always be a puzzle to me, and I reckon it's all because he could have had sleep, rest in peace, but chose one more night with the frogs. Now, today,
Hey, I try to react to everybody. There's an incident a couple of days ago that I'm legitimately bummed about. Like, I actually got called out by the person for not interacting as I should have, but I didn't recognize the name. And so, after some recent drama in the community, I had been a little wary. Call me paranoid, stemmed from people deciding they want to start shit. So I'm trying to get back to really interacting with everybody. I mean, that's a hallmark of my streams, is I really try to spend time with people, and that's why I mostly stream my videos now rather than pre-record them, because I love that interaction with whomever happens to be available at a given time. You know, I can't stream at a time when everyone's going to be free, because that's impossible. But if I bounce it here, there, and everywhere, depending on people's lives, the time of day, where they're located, etc., we might just get something. It's pretty awesome.
there's a lot of people, like the ones in Egypt's land, who go staggering, slipping, and sliding.
And that's hilarious. Otaku X saying, no joke, the stream page crashed as soon as he started singing. That's a sign right there. The dog Ozzy has left the room now that Kent is singing. Even the dog is tapped out. Why are you streaming so early? Says me, he works late and sleeps during the day. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. See, I can never get anything at a time that's good for everybody. It's just not possible. Hell, a quarter of the time now when AJ streams, I'm either going to sleep or I'm still at work. So I miss out on a lot of them. That's just the nature of the beast. Not much I can do about it other than just stream at random times, depending on how my schedule fits and how interested I am in stuff. Y'all know the times I'm likely to. On the weekend, it might be more often during the day. On the weekdays, it's going to be the afternoon. There's at least that.
Doing all they can to stand, just holding on to some little old sin that don't amount to a thing at all. They're going to give it up tomorrow. They want one more night with the frogs. One more night with them stinking frogs.
Kent, you wish you could get a frog. You've been lonely for a couple of months now, ain't you? Hovind, gonna spend his time on the. Oh wait, Trump banned the hub. Um, um. Hey. Joseph. I need you to help me again. Yeah. Okay. No, that's not good enough. I'm gonna need something better this time. And that's how Hovind's nights go.
One more night in sin. Had a terrible time with them
Yeah, one more night in sin. Exactly, Kent. Thank you.
last night. I just got to do it again. It'll always be a puzzle to me. I reckon it's all because he could have had sleep, rest in peace. He chose one more night with the frogs. Some of you have got a bad habit and you know you should quit, and you've been saying you're going to quit for years now. Well, one more night with the frogs.
Yeah, Moss-Eater, definitely glad to have you. Hope work isn't draining you too much, my friend. And everyone out there, I hope whatever you might have to do during the day, night, what have you, be at work, other elements of life, what have you, that it's at least manageable. I know it's probably not, but this is my way of saying I care.
He gave them their increase unto the caterpillar, gave also their increase, and their labor unto the locust. He destroyed their vines with hail.
Ooh, we got labor with a U there. Why don't you use the American pronunciation, Kent? You know, pronunciation. Fuck. American spelling there, Kent. Oh, you're not going to change the King James Version? But you'll rename the... You support Donnie Boy wasting time renaming the Gulf of Mexico. You know, the Gulf of Mexico. Let's say it again. Gulf of Mexico.
Hail and their sycamore trees with frost. He gave up their cattle to the hail and their flocks to the thunderbolts. He cast upon them fierceness of his anger, wrath, indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels among them. Not for their...
Look, I'm not saying Kent Hovind is sponsored by Adobe, but Kent Hovind is definitely the biggest supporter of PDF files that I'm aware of. Just saying.
soul, not their soul, and spared not their soul from death, but gave their life to the pestilence. Each one of these plagues that God sent. Remember, this psalmist is singing.
That right there, as Damien brings up, but Pharaoh couldn't quit because God hardened his heart, is why I think the stop hitting yourself thing. Just give up. But I can't. You won't let me. You just give up. I can't. It's so ridiculous. So I'm glad I'm not the only one who notices that. And I know I'm not the first to discover it. But it's just, that you guys hear this and you're just immediately like, but the dude, he can't. He said, no, I'm not crazy. He's not for that.
This song to remind them of what God did for them. Each one is one against one of their gods. The plague of blood was against Hapi and Osiris, the Egyptian gods of the Nile. They worshipped the river.
And you worship a book. Also, fun fact, my gun is named Osiris. Just thought y'all might want to know that. I'm one of those people who tends to name objects. Make of that what you will,
So Moses turned it into blood, where they couldn't drink it.
Moses turned it into blood.
They worshiped frogs. That was the Egyptian goddess Heket, or however you pronounce that, the goddess of fertility. The dead livestock was against Apis.
Seems the Egyptian gods didn't like him starting to talk shit about him. Interrupted his stream real good. I'm gonna say that was ISIS on top of that one.
They worshiped the cows. How dumb can you get? The plague of darkness was against Ra, the god of the sun. Mr. Nelson calls himself Aaron Ra, the sun god. Right, you got to be bright to be a sun, Aaron, okay? You're not too bright when you believe you're related to a frog, okay? He smote all the firstborn of Egypt, the chief of their strength, in the tabernacles of Ham. By the way, the Bible clearly calls Egypt the land of Ham. I believe after the flood, the people spread out from the Noah's Ark, which landed in...
I did not know that. That's pretty cool, honestly. I like the word Sonora, the name. Gulf of California, was fine because Baja California was the name of that region. And Gulf of America wouldn't be bad per se if it wasn't petty shit, which is all Trump's presidency, his past, and this one has or will ever be. From anything that actually gets, y'all know what I mean. Most of the attempts are petty shit, tied in with, trying to destroy the entire foundations of the country. But then contextually, if it had been named that originally, it wouldn't have been so bad, but it was Gulf of Mexico for fucking ever, so we might as well just keep it Mexico. Even though the whole area is North America. I mean, you know, we got the semantics okay, but I mean, you know, there's no real point. It's stupid. It's stupid to do. It's a waste of time, waste of effort, waste of everything. No reason. But, you know, best president ever, make America great again. Yeah. Stick it to the libs. I can't afford shit, but the libs.
In Turkey, and they found the spot where it landed. The Shem and his kids went this direction. They became what are now the Oriental people. Ham and his kids went this direction. Turkey went this direction. They became all the African people. And then Japheth went this way, and they became the European.
Yeah. Kent's not racist, though. Gulf of the Americas would be more accurate. Yeah, sure. That would be a far better, if you were going to change things, name to go to.
So there are three major types of people in the world that are divided by the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. That's another long story. Okay. So Egypt is the land of Ham. But he made his own
Ham.
people to go forth like sheep and guided them in the wilderness like a flock. He led them on safely so that they feared not, but the sea overwhelmed their enemies. He's reminding them, do you remember what God did for us people? Can you imagine living in a desert for 40 years and God supplied the water and the food in a desert?
Yep, won't supply food and water to people who are too stupid to figure out how to get somewhere in the desert, but or will supply food and stuff for them, but won't supply it to people in the modern era who need it. People who are struggling despite everything they do. But these idiots, they'll just give it to them for free. It's just the best. Yeah, fuck it. I was trying to. I broke pencil lead. I was sketching something down and broke pencil lead and an old mechanical pencil. We're talking, 1940s, because I have all kinds of weird junk. And I was trying to get the little piece back in there since the lead is an odd type. It is not expensive, but it ain't cheap. You just ain't going to the store and buying the lead this thing needs. So I was focusing on that while I was talking. Well, let's get back to the stream.
That's a good place to be, actually, if you don't want to get bothered. Nobody's going to come out there after you. There wasn't no Pharaoh. A good place for God to spend 40 years teaching these people his law. He brought them to the border of his sanctuary.
Kent, I would think that if Pharaoh and his army had drowned, there'd be records with the Egyptians of that. Or are you claiming conspiracy there, too?
Even to this mountain, which his right hand had purchased. He cast out the heathen also before them and divided them in inheritance by line and made the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tents. But yet they tempted and provoked the Most High God and kept not his testimonies, but turned back and dealt unfaithfully like their fathers. They were turned aside like a deceitful bow. A deceitful bow is one when you shoot it, it finally gets to the last part and curves the arrow over because the string isn't in the right position. Who cares? Okay. And they provoked him.
I'm going to bring up this useless crap. Who cares? I'm putting in my speech, though. Hovind.
To anger with their
Also, Kent, you keep talking about the Most High God. I don't recall Willie Nelson ever being mentioned in the Bible. Okay? And that'd be cool, and that would be a point in its favor, but Willie Nelson ain't mentioned in there, meaning it is not the Most High God. Because we know the order. Willie Nelson, followed by Snoop Dogg. We haven't found the third apostle yet. But when we do, there will be a glorious day.
With their high places and moved him to jealousy with their graven images.
Actually, maybe it was Afro Man. Because I got high, ranks pretty high up there. No pun intended.
When God heard this, he was wroth and he greatly abhorred Israel. God got sick of messing with them. 40 years, that's it. I'm done messing with you. So that he forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh and the tent which he placed among them. He delivered his strength unto captivity and his glory to the enemy's hand. God gave his own people up. Go ahead, go off into slavery for a while. Maybe you'll get the message over there. He gave his people over also unto the sword.
I'm Yahweh, and I can harden the heart of this Egyptian king. But all these random people who are supposed to love me, and they're not really paying attention to me. I'm just gonna let them deal with slavery for 200 fucking years. I don't give a shit. Cause I'm God. I don't fucking care about anything.
Sword and was wroth with his inheritance. The fire consumed their young men. Their maidens were not given to marriage. The priests fell by the sword. Their widows made no lamentation. Then the Lord awaked out of his sleep as a mighty man that shouteth by reason of wine, and he smote his enemies in the hinder parts. Even when God has to spank you, he'll at some point get tired of it.
God has to spank you. I really like it when God spanks me, Hovind. Nice and gently. Okay, a little more rough than that, Hovind. That's right, Hovind. Just like that, yeah, Hovind. Oh, I apologize for putting that picture in y'all's minds. You gotta admit it's funny.
I had one boy named Scotty. He came in to get a spanking in the office. I was school principal and taught science.
Oh, now he was principal of the school. Now he was fucking principal. Come the fuck on, Kent. Jesus fucking Christ, you fucking arrogant, lying piece of shit.
Science and math. And just about twice a week, they'd send Scotty down the hallway with a note from the teacher. Scotty, did you do this? Yeah. You know, well, some of them kids, they don't. Anybody ever seen a kid like that? They just don't get the message. You gotta
Yeah, Kent, you're one of them.
spank them and spank them and spank them. And so we had a school paddle. Finally, I said, Scotty, look, you've been in here about 12 times this year. I talked to your dad. Here's what I'm going to do. I broke the paddle over my knee. I said, let's go get a Dairy Queen. What? I don't get a spanking? No. I'm going to show you the difference between justice and mercy. You deserve a spanking, and you know it. You know you shouldn't do this in class. You know that. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to give you the spanking. See, that's mercy. Now, grace is where you get. See, mercy is where you don't get what you deserve. Grace is where you do get what you don't deserve. I don't want what I deserve. Anybody else? You don't want what you deserve? I don't want.
I think everyone, my audience and stuff, probably better than what we get in most cases. You certainly don't deserve most of what you've gotten. Make of that what you will.
I want what I don't deserve. Heaven. Yeah. The Lord awaked out of his sleep like a mighty man that shouted by reason of wine. He smote his enemies in the hinder parts. I've wondered about that verse. Does that mean he spanked them in their butt? I don't know. Anyway, he put them to a perpetual reproach. He refused the tabernacle of Joseph and chose not the tribe of Ephraim, but chose the tribe of Judah, the Mount Zion which he loved. And he built his sanctuary like high places, like the earth which he hath established forever. He chose David his servant, and took him from the sheepfolds. From following the ewes great with young, he brought him to feed Jacob his people, and Israel his inheritance.
This is true. Wouldn't hit the kid, but sure as hell hit his own son. Told the story proudly. But he's a good man.
He fed them according to the integrity of his heart, and guided them by the skillfulness of his hands. That word integrity is an amazing word. Steadfast adherence to strict moral and ethical code. We need some congressmen and senators in our government that have some integrity. This is the Constitution. This is the rule. Let's do it. The guys who developed this country, 1776, they said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. They're endowed by their creator with certain rights. Most of those guys believed the Bible. Now, we had a few that
No, they really didn't.
claimed to be atheists and morons, but they were influenced by biblical teaching. That's the way our country started. I think we should go back to that. Praise God. Trump, keep it up. I want Elon Musk and President Trump to come visit Dinosaur.
Yeah, you would want elongated muskrat over there. We're deporting all these people. Why don't we deport Elon? He deserves it. Send his ass right on back where he came from.
Dinosaur Adventure Land and take the tour. Can you see Elon Musk's kids up there on the tower doing the giant swing?
Kent, do you know anything about the situation with Musk's kids? Your bigoted ass wouldn't want to be near any of them. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? I'm not gonna get into it. I'm just not. I say any of them. I mean, one's a baby, but one's young. I mean, but that's not a happy family. And there's a real prejudiced reason why it's not a happy family. Also funny that you decry the Nazis all the time, but you want to hang out with a dude who did the Nazi salute. Unironically. But then again, that's all modern right-wing American politics is. It's fascism. It's totalitarianism. It's authoritarianism. But what do I know? I'm just some damn liberal.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? I'd love it. I don't know how many kids he's got, 30 or 40, somewhere around there. Okay. Strict adherence to a strict moral code. Integrity, found in the Bible a bunch of times. The just man walketh in his integrity. Now, this psalmist was to remind them.
Y'all are going to get to hear me say a phrase that I have put off saying because of connotations, but the irony would be delicious, and I'm going to say that as soon as I get to the comment from Dog Walker. Hovind would not want to mix with Musk when he finds out he is an African. Let me stress before I say this, since it's going to be taken out of context, that Elon Musk is from South Africa. He is, by definition, African, as in he originates from the continent of Africa. Ergo, it is completely accurate for me to say a phrase that otherwise would never be said. Elon Musk can go back to Africa. Any other case anyone's ever used that is racist as fuck. This one, it's quite literal. Quite apt. Feels good to get it out. Thank you for this opportunity. Now I feel slightly more comfortable with actually stressing it more in the event conversation about him comes up or in future planned writings and such online. And I mean that. Thank you so very much.
The people, God blessed them, and they didn't appreciate it. Are you destroying your kingdom, your family, your ministry, your health because you refuse to submit to God's will? Some of you got a habit that's going to ruin your health, and you know it, and you're going to give it up tomorrow. Got to have one more night with the frogs. You just insist on having one more night with the frogs. Some people learn slow. Some people don't get it at all. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Questions or comments? Almost half hour. Man, very good. Okay, we'll be, Lord willing, in the next psalm coming up, and Whack an Atheist Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. All you SpongeBob evolutionists, please call in. I'll be ready for you. Open mic. You got some proof for evolution? Let me see it. I think you've been duped into believing something really, really dumb. We're here to help. If you'd like to get to know the Lord, I'll be glad to lead you to the Lord over the phone. Call me, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. I'll turn it on in a couple minutes when we're done. Thank you. Let's pray. Lord, please help us to learn.
Boo. No one wants to hear your stupid prayer. We're going to turn that down lower.
Learn from your word. Help us to learn
as I
from
look
all
at
the
this
experiences
stuff.
The Israelites went through. They finally got caught on, some of them.
Blah, blah, blah. Hovind's
Lord,
talking
help
to
us
his
not to be
imaginary
stubborn,
friend again.
and hard-hearted.
And this is normal.
Gotta have
This is
control,
seen
not
as
control you,
sane.
Lord, we're supposed to just submit to your authority.
It's so fucking weird.
And do whatever you tell us to do now in Jesus' name. Amen.
So fucking
All right,
weird.
thank you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Go to hell, Kent. Go to hell. Well, did you not get that words in the Bible are meant to be metaphorical like 80% of the time? Nope, it is not. SpongeBob fair use, not the way he uses it. Honestly, the way he uses it, kind of not. But he's had problems. Like during the R&Raw debate, he had a little SpongeBob cutout taped under his monitor because that's back when he still used the external monitor for stuff, and apparently it must have triggered like Viacom systems or something because there was some kind of flagging of it. It got took down and re-edited, and you notice Later, when RN covers the stuff, it's got a black box over SpongeBob. They edited in hastily, so that's fun. Gonna have to call his ass back this week. Yes, Seth, you really do. And that's when you should call and ask him why he doesn't contact Caruso Tomato and schedule a debate since he wants one so badly. Kent wants one badly. Tomato doesn't. Cassius, that is an interesting subject. One that I do not wish to discuss because I just don't want to open that can of worms. I would say not in the way the identity is used, the classifier is used, and what's meant by it. Talking to people who are not there like a drunk on the bus at night. Yep. Kent's habit is not keeping his nose out of other people's business. Yep. All right. So that has been. Next call will be addressing that issue. Woohoo! All right. So do y'all want a bonus stream after this? I'm gonna wait a minute. And I'm going to see what the responses are. It's going to be a separate stream, a small separate stream, a relatively quick one. But there is something I wanted to do from some drama a couple of weeks ago, and Big Bad Mama happened to get back to me and be like, yes, please do, on what I wanted to do. So do you want another stream right after this? Like, insofar as I set things up, I go take care of, just double checking on a few things, and then we're firing right back with something fresh. All right, members of the audience have spoken. We're going to have a little bonus stream after this. So, it's 1:57 right now. I guess I'm gonna schedule it for 2:15 my time. So double X 15, after the hour. So unless you're in one of those weird time zones like Afghanistan or North Korea for a short period where the time was staggered 30 minutes off everyone else, 15 minutes after the hour, we are going to be doing the second streamy stream. And Otaku, honestly, I feel kind of bad that you're not at the theater. The theater experience would be a hell of a lot better than sticking around for my streams. And that choice is like, wow, you chose me over actually going out to do something that would have been cool. That's neat. But all right, second stream is incoming. I will catch y'all here in a hot little minute. With Central and thought he forgot his time change. Yeah, nah, Central. So it should really be 12:58, but